Hi, welcome to Embedded Shiksha. In this video, I will break down exactly how Qualcomm interviews works, what they test in each round, and why people fail even with good experience. If you are preparing for embedded system roles, firmware roles, automotive roles, watch this video till the end. So this video is based on multiple Qualcomm interview experience from our bootcamp joiners. So they are freshers, 2 to 4 years experience, 6 to 8 plus years experience, referral, direct application, and internal networkings. Different roles, different experience level, but interestingly, the interview experience, or we can say the interview structure, was almost the same. So before I go round by round, you need to understand one thing about Qualcomm. Qualcomm doesn't hire coders; they hire system engineers. They care about how you think, how you debug, how deep your fundamentals are, whether you can work on production silicon or not. Now let's break down the interview. Right? So the very first round, it's related to your C or embedded system fundamentals. From the C, you can expect a lot of questions which revolves around C programming fundamentals. They can ask you a lot of questions from pointers, pointer arithmetic. They can ask you questions from memory layouts, uh, how the memory layout of C programs looks like. They can give you some scenarios, like they can give you some small program and ask you like where is the in which sections of basically memory layout these variables will be stored, and then difference between stack and heap, how the stack overflow basically works, and how to fix the stack overflow, how to avoid the stack overflow. Then of course structure padding and alignment is also the important topic to prepare, and they ask a lot of questions from it. So from structure padding and alignment, it doesn't mean you need to only know what is structure padding, what is alignment. You need to go one step deep. You have to understand why the structure padding is really needed, what was the use of it, and how the structure padding works, and how to basically disable the structure padding. So why we really need to disable the structure padding in few of the scenario. For example, if you are sharing some data between user space to the kernel space, so there might be chances you want the data to be packed to avoid any alignment gap or padding gap basically. So these kind of questions you can expect in the interview. So with respect to C fundamentals, because you are going for company like Qualcomm or any other premium product based company, so they expect a deep knowledge of on the fundamentals of C or C++ depending upon your experience basically. Then bitwise operations, of course you should practice a lot of questions with respect to bitwise, like resetting a bit, toggling a bit, clear a bit, and then finding the number of set bit in an integer, finding the number of moving the zeros to the one side or ones to the other side. So these kind of questions you can expect from the bitwise operations. Array versus pointer, definitely you need to practice a lot of questions with related to array versus pointer. And then volatile, constant, static, so you can expect a lot of questions from volatile, static, and constant. And again, you should not only know volatile, what exactly the volatile is. If you will just reply volatile is just to stop the compiler optimization, so this is not going to help basically, because being an experienced engineer and you are going to appear for an interview in company like Qualcomm, so you should know the internal working of volatile, basically how the volatile work, and does volatile bypass the cache. So these kind of questions you can expect from in this round of your C fundamentals basically. Then you need to practice questions from string, array, pointer based programming questions basically, and then linked list programming, of course, reverse a linked list, find the loop in the linked list, and just to check and check whether this given linked list has a loop or not. So these kinds of questions you should practice with respect to the programming. So most of the people uh, I interact with, they ask these questions, do they really need to basically solve a lot of lead code problems? So the answer is no. If you are targeting embedded system based company like Qualcomm, Nvidia, and all other companies, AMD, Broadcom, so they don't expect you to know the deep level programming, kind of like backtracking, dynamic programming, and practicing a lot of lead code problem. That is not at all required basically. So they want you to know whether your logical programming is good. Basically you can write at least the medium level of programs given from linked list, stack and queues, and then string, and then array, bitwise operation. So if you are good in that, then you are good to go for these rounds of interview, right? So this is the first round in which basically they test your basic fundamentals. Or this first round is also kind of screening round. So if you don't perform well, you will not be allowed to go to the the next round basically, right? Because this is the fundamentals round, so they are going to check whether you are suitable to go for further rounds or not, right? Now the second round, in which they will ask you questions from so it will be a problem solving round, or mostly the debugging round. So they will give you few problems and they can ask you like, okay, debug this particular program or debug this scenario. Basically they will give you a scenario and they will ask you, okay, so what is the problem? So let's say if they will ask you, if there is a system who is getting hanged, which is getting hanged after 2 hours, so what could be the issue, right? Or if there is some data corruption, if you're sending the data or receiving the data through I2C or some SPI protocol, so what could be the issue? So these kind of questions you can expect. And definitely there could be there can be a lot of questions asked from the merit system design level questions. Basically design your own memory leak detector, design your own malloc and free, design semaphore, design mutex, design a circular queue, design a timer library, design a debouncing logic. So I've listed out few questions here, but the whole idea to tell you, like in this round you can expect few questions related to embedded system designs level questions basically, right? So the whole idea of this round is just to understand how you approach the design. If somebody is going to ask you like how you are going to design this, so they don't want to basically uh, get a clean solutions from you. They just want to know like how you think about these designs. So you are only, so in your current job role you are only working to fix the problem, or you are also understanding why the problem basically encountered, and the fix which you have done, why that fix is actually working for the problem. So the whole idea from this round is to understand the designs, how your embedded system basically product works, right? So definitely these rounds also play an important role, because a company who is paying you 40 lakhs 50 lakhs for just an experience of 5 years 6 years, definitely they expect an engineer to know or have a system level knowledge. So definitely this round also play an important role to decide your selections, whether you will be going for further rounds or not, right? So the round 3 is mostly most of the time is your role specific round. So let's say you are coming with RTOS background, so you can expect a lot of questions from task, ISRs, queues, semaphore, mutex, priority inversion, memory management, timers, synchronization problems, and then free RTOS APIs, or maybe some other RTOS on which you have worked for. So those questions you can expect in this round 3. Also you can expect a lot of questions from your resume or your current project or maybe the previous project, as from your experience basically. So they can go deep into your resume or your project, so they can ask a lot of questions from your resume. So what you have done, what was the problem, and how did you fix it, how did you approach it, or what was the challenges while you debug this problem. So this kind of question you can expect mostly in round 2 and round 3, right? And then if your background is from Linux kernel and device driver, you can expect questions from user space to the kernel space, interrupts, how kernel is basically handled, top halves, bottom halves, then device driver, character drivers, IOCTLs, system calls handling, then basically uh, interaction of user space to the kernel space, issues encountered while you are transmitting the data from user space to the kernel space, from kernel space to the user space, memory management, how the kernel is basically managed memory, what is low mem, what is high mem, then what is device tree, what is the role of device tree, why device tree is actually needed, then of course how the Linux kernel boots. If you are working on the BSP side, so they will have interest to know uh, like how much knowledge you have with respect to Linux kernel booting system, right? So you should know what, how the bootloader works, how the internal design of bootloader works basically. Then of course you should know the build system, maybe it's Yocto or maybe make file system. So you can expect questions from build system as well, being a Linux kernel and device driver engineer, right? So this is the round 3, which is mostly the role specific round, and in this round itself you can expect few questions from the hardware interaction, or software hardware interaction. Basically you can expect questions from DMA, you can expect questions from cache coherency, memory barriers, atomic operations. So these kind of questions you can expect, and few basically ARM architecture level question also you can expect in this round 3, right? Now this is the fourth round basically. So this fourth round is mostly for the senior level roles, basically architecture level role. In Qualcomm it's senior staff or maybe principal engineer role. So this in this role you can ask a lot of architecture, you can be asked a lot of architecture level question. Let's say design a firmware module for power management, design a error recovery subsystem of a particular project, and design a state machines, basically how the state transitions will work from one state to another state. So the whole idea to check is how you can design a scalable system or robust system. Or they will ask you, design a system in such a way like it can be deployed in millions of their devices without causing any harm to the the working of your system, basically, right? So we will also talk about in the next slide why most people fail the Qualcomm interviews. Before that, I want to let you know, like, whatever we have covered so far: round 1, round 2, round 3, C, RTOS, embedded system design, and then architectures, everything we cover as part of our embedded system into prep bootcamp. So we are starting our embedded system prep bootcamp 3.0 on 16th February. So it's 8 week into prep program in which we cover C fundamentals, DSA coding, RTOS, Linux kernel and drivers, mock into prep, resume prep guidance. So everything is covered as part of this bootcamp. So the whole idea of this bootcamp is to give you structure into preparation. You don't need to go through a lot of YouTube videos, or you don't need to spend months finding the right document or right material for you to prepare for the interview, right? So if you are interested, so you can just check out the link in the given in the description. So we are closing the enrollment soon for this batch because already 160 people joined for this boot camp. So if you want, you can just check the link given in the description for this boot camp. Now come to the questions like why most people fail Qualcomm interviews. Basically, most common failure reasons are, I have seen people over focus on the DSA and the lead code. Basically, they has very weak C fundamentals. They spend a lot of time practicing a lot of lead code problems, but if you will ask simple questions from the C fundamental, they will miss it, right? And then they don't have real debugging experience. They can't explain their thought process and their preparation. So they just prepare according to their resume. Basically, it's not role driven. Basically, they are not able to explain what impact they have made as per their resume, or maybe so far in their current company or the previous companies, how much impact they have made in their current teams on the previous teams, right? So that is why we have designed this bootcamp, which gives you the strong fundamentals. It will help you to thinking in the system level, basically, and practicing how to explain, solving the interview style problems, mock interviews, and the feedback. So that is how we have people from our boot camp who has joined Qualcomm even with 100% hike. So even a guy who was working early for like earlier for Infineon, he recently joined Qualcomm with a 100% hike, even though his earlier CTC was also good, but still Qualcomm has given him 100% hike, right? So if your Qualcomm is on your target list, or maybe Nvidia AMD is in your target list, so stop chasing random questions, strengthen your fundamentals and practice your reasoning, not memorizations. And most importantly, think like an engineer, not a candidate, right? So if you want more videos like this, real interviews breakdown from top product based companies, subscribe to this channel. And if you are preparing seriously, check the description for how we structure preparation in our bootcamp. See you in the next video.